Hey race fan, Brian Davis races and you can too. Today's video is all about using the TrainerRoad Plan Builder to automatically lay out my whole schedule for training for the 2020 season. I'm putting all my faith into TrainerRoad. We'll see how it goes. All right, thanks for checking out the channel. Please do subscribe while you're here. I'd appreciate that. Listen, so today I'm going to try the Plan Builder. I have not even cracked open this thing since it came out a couple weeks ago. I'm super excited about it. Let me just explain where I'm at right now as I'm prepping for the 2020 season. I just finished the base phase in TrainerRoad of 6 weeks. Base phase, high volume 2. Now, I normally would go into the build phase and then on to the specialty phase after that. But this year I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to put all my eggs into the Plan Builder basket, so I hope it works out. No pressure. No pressure. Okay. Let's jump into the Plan Builder, see if I can figure it out. Oh, because I ran out of base phase, and now I'm supposed to be in something, but I don't have any workouts today, so I need to figure this out so I can get a workout in today. So, time's ticking. Yeah. All right, let's get into the Plan Builder here. So you're just going to drop into your training plans and then pick Plan Builder, and then you figure out how many hours a week you're willing to train. I was kind of on the cusp. I went and looked at Strava. I was on 9 and 10. I was actually at just over 9, so I went with the high volume plan at least to start. And then you pick your experience with intervals. I went with expert because I've done this for 3 years now or even longer. And then that was interesting. I picked my start date as today, the day that I was doing this. Now that's going to come back to be an interesting choice in a moment here. So then it puts you right into creating some events. And for me, my A event is Tour of America's Dairyland, which is a, depending on how they do it this year, a 5 or 10 day event. And depending on what I sign up for, just the Masters Series. Anyway, somewhere around there. So we go figure out what days are most important to you throughout the summer. And then you're going to list your A, B, and C races. Now, I just listened to the podcast after doing this whole process. So as I was doing it, I had no podcast familiarity with Plan Builder from TrainerRoad, but afterwards I went and listened to one. And the key word to remember here is priority, not necessarily difficulty or anything else. It's just which event has the most priority, which one is the most important for you to do well. They're all important, and you can certainly go win a C race, no doubt about it. It's just that you would train through a C race. You wouldn't disrupt your training plan for a race that's not that important to you. And a B race, obviously, somewhere in the middle. So for me, Tour of America's Dairyland is the most important. Now here, I tried to make the lacrosse event, which is a 3-day Omnium in May, an A event as well, but it won't let me because they're less than 8 weeks apart, which makes sense, right? Like you can't peak fitness all the time. Otherwise, we'd all be fit all the time. So your A races, it sort of forces you to put them 8 weeks apart, which I really appreciate because it makes you do some hard thinking about what really is the most important thing to you. So I put the plan in, and this is what it comes back with, sweet spot, all that stuff. And then I deleted it because I thought, well, wait a minute, I've already done 6 weeks of training. So I got rid of the whole thing, started over, which just kudos to them for thinking of that, to be able to put this into the past. So just go repeat the process. Everything starts over. It only takes a minute to go through this whole thing. But then I figured out, well, when I actually started TrainerRoad this year was December 3rd. So now I'm going to make that my start date, which is something that you should consider as you build out your Plan Builder. Now my events are saved in there, which is great, but it duplicated. Not totally sure why that was the case, but it did. So, well, I guess I might be sure because this is actually the second time I redid that start date, so it could have been, it's definitely my fault. So one thing you can do in here is you can click over to customize training blocks for each block, and then you can select block by block. Hey, I want all these to be outdoor. I want to change up my work week. So this block I want to be resting on Monday. This block I want to rest on Tuesday, not just week by week, but these whole blocks. You can manipulate these whole blocks. And you can even move those blocks to mid-volume or low volume depending on what life throws at you. So I very well may move mine to mid-volume, especially as I get into build. High volume just seems like too much, especially when I start doing group rides. It's just too much. So I think I'm probably going to knock that down in terms of structured training. The hours per week is fine, but the amount of structured training is interesting. So look what it did for me. This is so fascinating. A lot of base, of course. then a good build phase, but then we go back to base. Now that's something I never would have thought of. And then specialty is actually a really long process from May to June. Again, I would not have gone that long on specialty left to my own devices. I'm quite sure of it. And I definitely would not have gone back into base after getting out of build. And that's more of a mentality thing on my part than anything else. So here you can see these are really important. Base, week 7 training plan. You can manipulate those. You can go click into your training plan and look at your overview again. So you definitely want to keep track of where those things end up on your calendar, because you can get a lot more information by clicking on those gray blocks to be able to see what's going on if you wanted to manipulate the time of day, is inside, outside. And here's one thing I messed up, is that I was just putting in these, I didn't realize they had a stage race functionality, but they do. So I was putting in these singular day events, even though this is a 3-day omnium, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I struggled with how to get that done. One thing, you can just drop and drag these things. That's awesome. But more importantly, is once you establish, say you have a 3 or 4 or 5, 6-day race series, you can go in there and do stage race. I didn't see it at first, so this is how you do it. You click on add any event anywhere, you add a race, name the race, I'll just name it test, discipline, all the way at the bottom is stage race. And then that will allow you to enter day after day after day. Basically, it just creates that event, and then you copy and paste it, copy, paste it, copy, paste it. It's pretty much how it works, so it's not like crazy. So that's how it works. All right, race fan, that's the plan builder. Wow, that thing is super well thought out. Oh my gosh, I screwed it up so many times, as you could see in the video. I put a plan in, and then, you know, you saw what happened. I just kind of had some fits and starts, but eventually when you play with it, it's very forgiving. You can delete the plan, start over again, no big deal. Definitely some things in there I never would have come up with on my own. I never even would have asked the question to TrainerRoad, you know, should I do this or move this here or do this or do this? Never would have come up with that. So super excited to see where this goes, but you can just see, oh my gosh, you can see how much importance they put on the base stuff. So I just got done with 6 weeks of base, and it pains me to say that I'm going to be doing a lot more base. So yeah, which is actually, I think is really smart, because, you know, I might go in there and drop that down to mid volume. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what life presents. Also, I'd like to point out, I mentioned this in my last video, but you can see how they go in this build, 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 recovery, build, 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 recovery, build, 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 recovery. And then typically my experience of trying to train myself, I mentioned this in the last video, is I just crammed that whole process into like 1 week, and it's stupid. It doesn't work at all. So, oh, there's my phone. Okay. All right, race fan, that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you checking out the channel. If you do get a chance to go buy some killer alpaca socks as you prepare for your spring riding and racing, I would appreciate it. Go visit followhollow.com and support the channel that way. It means a lot to me. And I'd also like to just take 1 second to really thank TrainerRoad for all the stuff that they put out. I think that Plan Builder is incredibly well thought out and is an amazing tool and works really well. That was my first impression of it. And just to be clear, these guys do not sponsor me or support me in any way. They're more than welcome to if they're watching, but that is not the case. So I just am a big fan of what they're doing and how it helped me last year. So I'm willing to give them the trust to dive even deeper into this year. But remember, you can race too. So go sign up for that A event, B event, toe the line. You'll appreciate it. You'll enjoy it, and it'll give a lot more meaning to your training, even if you're dead last. So the goal on this channel is to grow our sport, grow our knowledge, and grow our fitness. Hopefully I delivered that to you today. Bye.